Welcome to my craft and space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I'm here to share a beautiful card made with dies from the Mediterranean Bloom Suite. What do you say we get my face out of the way and we do some creating? Mediterranean Blooms is a suite in the 24-25 annual catalog. It went live the beginning of May. If you don't have that catalog, reach out to your favorite Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And if you don't have a favorite Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to help you with that. I love giving people catalogs. Reach out to me. So this stamp set, or suite rather, has some wonderful stamped images of fruit. We're going to kind of shortcut that today. It has this beautiful die cut, and I'll give you a couple tips for that. And it's just an overall beautiful suite. We're going to use some of the embellishments that come in the suite. So let's look at our card. The first thing you may notice is I don't have a sentiment on the front, and I'm good with that. I think one, it may take away from the overall design of the card, and two, this allows more flexibility for me to decide what I want this card to be. Let me first talk about this die here. There is a die that's part of this suite that you can cut just like this, and it cuts out the center of the card and then leaves everything else. I wanted this piece here. So if that's what you want, you're gonna lay it down like that and run it through. So it's a two-piece die, but then when you use the second piece, it cuts the outside edge off. So that's something to look forward to in this suite. Then, those of you who watch me know coloring is not my skill set, nothing. I rarely color. I'm not good at it and I don't enjoy it. There might be a link there. There's a paper pack that has some of the same stamped images. Now this beautiful suite board is made by my team member Amy, and she's very good at coloring. So she colored them. I am not very good at coloring, so I did a different way. This is just a piece of the print paper that's part of the suite. I had it cut in smaller pieces for class, and then there's a die that cuts that out for me. Like Stampin' Up! Was watching out for me. So see how close that die fits around there? Perfect. So this card comes together relatively easy. Let's look at the pieces. So this is from the Mediterranean Blooms. It has some beautiful citrus on it. It has some oranges. For this card, I chose the background of pumpkin pie, which is one of the colors in here. And because it's Stampin' Up!, everything coordinates, and they tell us what colors are used in the paper pack. They also use garden green. So I'm going to make this version in garden green. I'm going to first fold my card base. And it's 5.5 by 8.5, but you can find all the measurements and supply list on my blog. And we're going to set that aside. Then I have a piece of wood grain paper, which I felt like the wood grain offered contrast to the white, which is what I wanted, but a little more interest than just a solid brown. But you know, you do what works for you. You could have picked a solid green or something else on there. I went with the wood grain, and the wood grain paper is from Country Woods. I'm now going to attach this here. And then we're going to emboss. So when we emboss paper, we put a lot of pressure on it to add texture or another, look. And so I don't want to put too much glue on here because it's all going to squish out. So I could use glue dots. And let me show you how to do that. You could use a touch of glue also, but glue dots are not going to go everywhere when you do that. And you don't need a lot because by embossing it, you're kind of putting the two pieces of paper together. So I'm just going to add a few glue dots to here as I open up this little. They're clear. If you don't quite get them behind the white, you're not going to see them. But if you want to use the liquid glue, that would work great too. You just want to make sure that you don't use too much, because when I emboss, it's going to push really hard on this paper, and any extra glue is going to kind of come squirting out the side, which is not great for your embossing folder and doesn't do anything for your card. I am putting 2 on the side, 1 top and bottom. So you don't need a ton of them. I just need 1 more here. See, that didn't take so long. There we go. Then I'm going to line this up. It's very close to the top. And as I let it come down, I kind of check the sides. There we go. How easy was that? Now, I embossed this with an embossing folder called Timber, a wood grain design. And the wood grain is going this way, and my wood grain is going this way. So I'm going to lay my paper so that the wood grain embossed texture will match which way the wood is going here. That's going to go here. I'm just lining it up with that line at the bottom. This is what we call a 3D emboss folder, meaning it's thicker, it's going to give more of an impression, and it's going to use plates 1 and 4. Your embossing folders don't come labeled. I label them and add what we call the sandwich we need for that. So I'm going to grab, oops, sorry guys, things are falling down here. This is the Stampin' Up cut and emboss machine, and it's really my favorite machine to do this kind of work. But you can use really whatever kind of embossing or die cut machine you have that will work with embossing folders. This uses plates 1 and 4, so I'm going to lay this on plate 1 with the fold going first, like so. Then I'm going to put plate 4 over the top. It's really important, regardless of the machine you're using, regardless whether you're die cutting or embossing, that there's always a plate on top. It protects your product so that the embossing folder or die doesn't get damaged by your machine, and it protects your machine. And then we're just going to go through here. And if it's not rolling as easily as this, stop and check what we call your sandwich. Do you have the right plates? There we go. Fold back up the sides, and we're done. We really are almost done with this card. It comes together so quickly, and sometimes you need cards like that. And the front is versatile enough that you can, I'm going to stop and show you what's going on here. This does not want to come off because I think in class when a couple people used it, the glue part. I didn't get that message across clear enough, and there's still glue on my folder. I thought I had cleaned it off. So I'm being very gentle when I pull it up, but this is why you want to use less glue when you're going to emboss. There we go. That's what happens. We're going to set this folder aside. What I'll do is wash it with some warm soapy water and leave it open to dry, and it will be fine. But I didn't check that before I did that. Okay. Now we're going to attach it. Oh, look how that wood grain looks against the green. I like that. My preferred adhesive is a tape runner, but I'm not going to use that because I think it's kind of, oh, there you can see, it's really heavily embossed, and a tape runner will just kind of float on the top, and we need something that's going to adhere it down. So we're going to get out that glue that I was saying just made a mess on my folder, and we're going to add it here, but we're going to leave a little bit of a gap to the outside so that when I squish this down, the glue will kind of not go there. There we go. I'm being pretty generous on this center. Then we're going to center this piece. This is 4 by 5 1/4. You wouldn't, because of the size of the die, you're not going to be able to go much smaller for a card front. And again, it's heavily embossed, so I'm giving it a second for the glue to catch. There we go. This is a great die. There's so many things you can use it for, but look at the contrast with the white and that wood grain. That pops. Okay, so now we have the piece that I cut out. Isn't that lovely? Took me no time at all, and I didn't have to do any coloring. Some of you would be like, but I love to color, and I'm happy for you. I'm just not one of those people who loves to color. I get almost done, and then I make a mistake, and then I get really crabby. So it's not a fun time when I'm coloring. I'm going to add pretty generous amounts of dimensionals. And dimensionals come off the page, sticky on one side, and then we're going to pull the backing off. If you haven't used dimensionals before, they add, hence the name, a little dimension, like they pop it up a little bit. Not so much that it will cost extra postage as long as you do just one row of them. But they do add just another layer to your card, which adds a little more interest to your card. So they came off the sheet sticky, and now we're going to make the back side sticky. We're just going to pull off the backing. These backings can land everywhere. Like they just kind of follow you around because they're really staticky. So I put mine, thanks to the advice of a Stampin' Up demonstrator friend, Jennifer. She has a lovely little cute jar in her desk. I have an ugly plastic pink box next to mine. I don't show that, but they both work to hold the backs of the dimensionals. And then I'm just going to kind of lay this here wherever I want it. Then the opal rounds, they're on the sweet board. They come in Night of Navy. I have another card posted that uses those. They come in a clear, and they come in a pretty color called Peach Pie. So we're going to use the orange ones. Whoop, and they go flying. I'm going to put 3 on. I like to put them on in odd numbers, and I like to do them in a roughly triangular shape. So that's what this means. I'm going to put 1 here, and you can see that right against that wood grain, and then 2 more closer together. That makes a roughly triangular shape. So 1 can go there. Oops. Run away today. Sorry, the hands, not a great hands day. Let's just try this. I'm just pulling up the putty end to see if that wants to pick it up. There we go. And then I'm going to put the other one here. Just like so. Oh guys, it took off without grabbing any. And so this happens sometimes. The glue dot for it is still on my sheet. If you want to try to save that embellishment, stick it right back on there and grab the glue dot. I am not going to do that. We have other things to do than watch me attach that small piece to a glue dot. So I'm going to this time reach under and grab the glue. That's why it wouldn't stay on the end of my take your pick tool. There we go. That's all there is to this card. And yet I think stunning, really pretty. Now, when I decide what it's going to be, a birthday, thinking of you, speedy recovery, I'm going to add, I'm going to stamp first or write, then I'm going to add just a piece of that really pretty print paper on the inside. I'm just going to move it so you can see what it's going to look like. I'll glue it and trim it, and then when I put it in there, look what just that touch of print does. And if that small piece has an impact, just think what it's going to do when we put it on our envelope. Because we both know we are not sending this pretty card in a naked envelope. So I'm going to grab my multi-purpose glue. I have a piece of that orange print that is 2 1/4 by 6, which is slightly larger than my envelope flap. So we're going to make sure the glue goes on the envelope flap. We always want to put glue when we're gluing 2 pieces of paper together on the smaller piece. I am putting glue all the way around the outside though, because I don't want a gap where a postal machine can get in there and rip my envelope. There we go. And then we'll trim it. If you are looking for more ideas with the Mediterranean Bloom Suite, I have cards both on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel, and you can find both of those by looking for Scrappin' with Joni. This is a beautiful suite and so versatile. I have really enjoyed creating with it, and people in class this month really like the cards. Look at that. Doesn't that scream summer and warm weather? Everything lovely. Thanks for watching. Whether you're watching on my Facebook page or on my YouTube channel, it's a great way to support a small business, and I appreciate it more than you know. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.